morning, welcome to Terra at Home. I'm back with Colleen Zimmerman from Terra, and we're talking potatoes today. All about the potatoes. You love your potatoes.
I do.
You love growing potatoes, and apparently it's very easy to grow potatoes.
Extremely easy, and it's made even easier this year.
Okay, so, and that's because of this magical pot.
It is.
Da-da-da-da.
It's a pot within a pot.
Okay.
So anywhere you can grow potatoes in a container.
Neat. So again, going back to lack of space, people thinking that they can't grow fruits and vegetables, but they can by just having a pot on your deck even. Right?
Definitely.
Easy
and
enough.
even if you do have the property to have a vegetable garden, sometimes potatoes are difficult to grow. I have clay soil, so sometimes they turn out a little wonky and not very big. So being able to have them in a pot, you'll get
control their environment.
Very good yields and really good soil.
Okay, so well, let's talk about how you use this pot then, and how it can be such an advantage for people.
Well, the nice thing about this, it's a pot within a pot. So you put your soil in here. We'll demonstrate on how to plant one, and then you can harvest it throughout the season. As soon as the potato plant has some flowers on it, there will be some potatoes there. So you just can pull it out, grab a couple potatoes,
and grab them from in here,
put it back in.
I love it.
And then it'll continue to grow. And then at the end of the season, after the plant turns all yellow, then you can pull the whole thing out, dump it, and get the rest of the potatoes that are on the inside.
That is amazing. That's so cool. Okay,
Incredible.
So then it makes it sound pretty easy, and potatoes grow quite quickly when they're in a proper environment. You're getting a lot of them from there.
If you plant them anywhere, you want the soil temperature to be warm and all signs of frost to be passed. Plant your potatoes, and you can probably start harvesting around the beginning of July, and then the full harvest in September.
Cool. That's great. Okay, so we're going to take this pot and we're going to show how to plant your potatoes.
Yes. So this one is full of soil, and we also have, this is for the do-it-yourselfer, but we will also have them at Terra already growing.
Oh,
so you don't have to do anything.
That's the way I roll. Just kidding. But that is nice though for people, right?
For sure.
Everybody wants to get all in the dirt.
The one nice thing about this too is you can choose organic potatoes, because we have organic seed potatoes. We also have some gourmet. These ones are French fingerlings that we're going to be working with today.
Fancy.
And of course we have my purple potatoes that I love so much.
We've had an episode on that before, right? So that's the thing. So we're looking at some of them here. Again, as you say, organic or regular. But so that's basically what you're doing is you're buying potatoes and planting the potatoes.
Yes. And the difference between seed potatoes and the ones you find in the grocery stores, quite often the ones in the grocery store have been treated so that they don't sprout. Oh. So when you plant them, if you try to plant those ones, usually they won't do anything. They'll just kind of sit in the soil and rot. So the seed potatoes, as you can see on these ones, these are what's called eyes.
Yeah, look at that.
So that's where the roots will grow, and there's a whole bunch of them on here. So different rules of thumb. I usually cut mine at least so that there's 2 eyes per piece.
Okay.
If you have like really small ones, you can just plant the whole potato rather than cutting it.
Okay.
So with these here, then you just kind of dig a little hole, put them in about 6 inches deep, probably about 3 or 4 per pot.
And that's all you need.
And that's all you need to do.
Really?
Water, fertilize, and one thing, if the pot is big enough, you can also do a companion planting. These are onion sets, so rather than growing onions from seeds, you can grow these and have green onions going around the outside, so you can have a baked potato pot.
You just need sour cream and you're good to go.
There you go.
I love it. That's a great idea, though.
Tuck these ones in the outside.
Okay.
And as the onions grow, then you can harvest them as green onions.
Okay.
And then when you're harvesting them, the potato's growing, and then it's getting more space. So the onions will be out by the time the potatoes get to be a big enough size that you need.
Okay. Amazing. So again, as you say, just fertilize and away to go, and they just start growing.
Bright sunny spot.
Yep.
Keep it well watered.
Okay. And then,
then
we'll show you what happens. So come to here. So how long has this been growing?
This has been in the greenhouse, so it's a little exaggerated, but it's been growing probably 2 to 3 weeks.
My goodness.
They grow fairly quickly.
Wow. And there are potatoes under here.
This is the surprise.
Okay, ready? So this is when you pull out this.
Pull it out.
And you can see, look it. So this is what you were talking about earlier, how you harvest. You can pull that right out of there.
Yep.
And pull out whatever ones you can see or visual, and then put it back in, and it'll continue
to grow, and more potatoes will form, so then you only harvest what you need.
Right. That's amazing. And it doesn't affect the plant by any means by pulling as you're going along.
Not at all. It's a little bit of root pruning, basically.
Yeah, basically that's what it is, right? Yeah. Because you're giving, if you don't, you're gonna this pot's gonna be full of potatoes.
Yes.
As you said, you can do that though if you wanted to. You can leave it.
You can wait to the end of the season, dump the entire pot out, and then there'll be potatoes throughout the whole thing, not just the edges, all in the center as well.
Oh my goodness.
So the initial seed potato will be gone. It'll be shriveled up. You might see a little bit of it.
Okay.
And then all the new potatoes will be there.
Wow, that is amazing. Okay, so this whole potato thing, it's really actually quite curious to me. So again, this is the pot that's going to make it easier. So if you don't use a pot like this, for example, if you do not use this liner, then how are you harvesting your potatoes? Are you digging literally in the dirt to get them?
If you're putting them in a regular pot, most of the time you'll be harvesting them at the end of the season, because it is a little bit more disturbing to actually be digging in there to get them.
Yeah.
But if you're planting them in a pot, your regular pot's usually like this, then you dump the entire thing out once the plant's yellowed in September, October.
Okay.
And then you can harvest them that way.
Okay.
The nice thing with this pot is that you can harvest them as you go.
Right, and that's
So you
the
can
bonus
get,
part.
exactly.
Since this is, as you were saying, something very new to TERRA.
Yes.
So with this being kind of mid-May right now, you were saying we have to be careful with the frost right now. So there's still a possibility.
There's still a possibility.
Could you plant this though and have it in your house?
Definitely.
Okay.
Because it's being planted in a pot, the soil temperature is different. It's on the patio or it's on the deck, and there's less chance of it being affected that way. It's more when you're planting potatoes directly in the ground, where the soil temperature is still quite cold. So you want that to get warmed up.
Okay, so that was my next question. So if you are going to be doing this style and you are going to go to the ground, you do need to wait for a bit more until that soil really warms
definitely.
up.
I usually wait until about the May 2-4 weekend. You know, general rule of thumb.
Yeah.
And then when planting them in the garden, you just have a trench, cut your seed potatoes.
So same method. So you're cutting them, doing the same thing, and down.
Yeah. So that one I would leave as is, but this one here, there's a few eyes here and there's a few eyes at the other end. So I would just cut it in half. Again, so that there's at least 2 eyes per piece, and then you plant these about 6 to 8 inches apart, or 10 inches depending on what type of potatoes. For the smaller fingerlings and the gourmet potatoes, 6 to 8 inches is fine. For some of the other ones, like we have chieftains, and these are Yukon Gold, so those are the nice buttery yellow, yummy ones.
Those are the ones people love to use for mashed potatoes,
definitely,
right?
yeah.
Like really good.
Yeah, they get that buttery look and really creamy texture to them.
Yeah.
And we also have red-skinned ones. Chieftains are usually the ones that we have, and we also have white-skinned ones as well.
Wow,
so
you could really just have a whole variety of potatoes.
Definitely.
And again, you're going to get a lot from this, so be prepared.
Each seed potato, if it's, as long as it's a good year, you know, you can get like a handful of potatoes.
That's cool. And what you're identifying as an eye too to me is something as small as like tiny.
Just a little indent where you see, especially with seed potatoes, it's a lot easier to see. But it's all like you'll see like little sprouts starting to come out. It's a little indent in the potato, and the sprouts starting to come out. These ones are obvious.
Yeah,
you know, those ones are easy. But there's a whole bunch of like little ones on this one that are just all around it. So this one actually has about 6 eyes on that piece.
That's amazing. So you could chop that up even more if you wanted.
For sure. You could.
That's cool. I love that. Okay, so again, basically this is the time to come in, ask some questions to all your friends here at TERRA, and find the ones that you like. And again, go out and try those Russian blue, right? Because they're so awesome.
Yeah, you know, layered in some scalloped potatoes or something.
Yeah, pretty. See, she's thinking ahead. We do have to go to her place sometimes and check out what she's been doing, but she's definitely growing potatoes. So this is cool. Check out this new pot at TERRA. This is fun, and again, give you a kind of a head start and an advantage and easier way to get your potatoes.
For sure.
Thanks, Colleen. That's it for now. We'll have more TERRA at home in a bit.
Told you Mom was coming this weekend, right?
No, you left that part out. Her first visit this weekend? Look around, we're not ready for that.
Where are you going?
To TERRA, where do you think?
This is amazing. You're amazing.
Well, we had a little help.
TERRA, where color lives.
Heritage perennials. Look for us in the blue pots.
Good morning, welcome back to TERRA at Home. I'm here with Jeff from Angie's Bridal in Waterdown, and thank you for letting us come here into this space. As a female, even though I am married, it's fun to come and look at wedding dresses, right? And it's so exciting for that bride to be. But it's always about, okay, what's next? What's to come? So we're going to take a look at our first model, and we're going to talk as we wake our way through about the trends through spring into summer for wedding gowns this year. Okay, so let's take a look right now in our first model.
Okay, our first model is Lauren, and she's wearing a beautiful creation from Maggie Sotero. It's called Alma. It has an illusion neckline with lace and a wonderful beaded belt, and one of the most dramatic cowl backs I've seen in a long time.
Let's see that back. Oh, I love that. It's beautiful.
So when ladies are getting married in the summer, quite often they don't want to wear a heavy ball gown or lace or satins because they're not as comfortable as chiffons. So the destination dresses have been developed. They're perfect for weddings out of the country and in the sunny south, of course, but also if you want to get married in the park here in Ontario, or,
Right.
or at a farm, or even in your backyard. They're perfect for that.
And that's true, and that's what you can see when you're looking at this dress. It is very versatile, but it definitely screams outside and beautiful and flowy, doesn't it? Okay, that's gorgeous. I love that. Thank you very much. Love the hair too. All right, we'll also, we'll bring on our next model as well, and we're still talking about hair. Our previous model had her hair tied up, and now this model has her hair down. So you're going to see a lot of versatility with hair as well.
I think the trend is going more to down for destinations, especially.
Exactly, because it's flowy.
Yes, the gowns are usually strapless and the and simple, so the hair becomes part of the accessorized look. You saw Lauren with the hair piece in, and hair was put up by actually by Kaylee's mom over at House of Hair Images.
Oh, that's nice. That's lovely.
And Kaylee here is wearing JC also from Maggie Sotero, and this is a little different look. A little more flowy, a little more chiffon.
Oh, the back's pretty.
It has the corset back, which is very forgiving. So
yes.
as the wedding gets closer, sometimes brides are losing a little weight to look their best. Sometimes they're getting a little stressed and maybe gaining a pound or two at the last minute. So the corset back allows about half a size either way in forgiveness. So.
And that's the one thing that we need to mention is models do sometimes, or brides do lose a fair amount of weight and come in, and sometimes their dress isn't, you're not capable of taking in maybe 15 pounds loss like that, right?
No,
so
it can be a lot of work for our seamstresses, I'm sure. But they're pros, and they've, I hate to say they've seen it all, but they've seen a lot.
I'm pretty sure they have.
They can take a dress in as much as 2 sizes without losing too much of the look. But depending on the embellishments, whether it's got a belt or a lot of buttons and a lot of beadwork, or a multi-layered skirt, for instance, they can be very difficult to change the size.
I bet. Now, when we talk about some of the trends that we're seeing, are we seeing more ivory off whites or whites this spring and summer?
Well, we've consistently sold somewhere around 85% of our gowns in ivory.
Really?
About 10 to 12% in white, and a very small percentage in different colors.
In different colors.
This year there are a few blush gowns available.
Okay.
Some of the movie stars got married in colored gowns.
Yes,
I think
there were a few.
Reese Witherspoon comes to mind.
And Jessica Biel as well.
There you go.
Yeah, there's a few.
I missed that wedding. The invite was lost in the mail. So there will be some color this fall as well, blush. There are a few other colors available. Typically, there are a couple of gowns available in red or black or blue.
Wow.
So some cultures prefer a colored wedding gown.
What about accent colors? Are you still seeing some of the accent colors? I know we have a couple behind us here too, just with the belts.
Most are black or simple colors. This one, the next dress, has an actual
kind of nice neutral, isn't it?
I think cinnamon or something is the color they call that. But, it's very nice. This is
nice.
more of a classic ball gown look. This is called Talia. It's also from Maggie Sotero. Beautiful chiffon and tulle.
This is when you want to look like a princess.
This is for the princess, and this one is one of my favorites because it combines simplicity and the elegant look of a traditional ball.
I actually really like that a lot. I really love with having that tulle on the outside and how it flows. It's just so.
This one's fairly simple. They can become quite elaborate, but there are a tremendous number of girls who want to wear a traditional ball gown because it's what they've grown up dreaming about.
That's right, and a lot of times girls will actually draw pictures of their wedding gowns for years and years and years.
Oh, yes.
And sometimes they don't shy too far from what they always had planned, right? And even though the trends are suggesting otherwise.
Although oddly enough, we often have women coming in and they know exactly what they want until they start trying on dresses.
Exactly, and they don't leave. They leave with something completely different.
Completely different.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Yes, it's a remarkable thing that we noticed right away when probably the first couple of customers we had that they knew exactly what they wanted, but they never bought it.
Yeah. I was kind of like that myself actually, and sometimes it'll come to the point where you're like, oh, I'm not even going to try that on. That's not me. And well, if you try it on, that means sometimes that's the one.
That's where our consultants come in. They've done this enough times that they encourage the girls just to try something that may be a little different, and then once they see it, they start, oh, that may not be so bad after.
And with body types as well, right? You know, people know some individuals know what's best on them,
Yep.
but sometimes it takes somebody else to suggest that maybe, you know, this is a better style for you.
Some of the
for your
girls,
neckline.
some girls with curves, some girls are taller and thinner. And,
Exactly.
And until they start trying them on, they never realize what looks best on them.
In terms of necklines, now obviously we've seen a couple of, you know, we're seeing strapless right now, but we are seeing ones that still, that give you different necklines as well.
Yeah, I think the most popular is the Sweetheart neckline, which is the similar to what Lauren was just wearing. And this year there is also going to be some cowl necks or boat necks, as they're called, which are basically straight across.
Yeah, right open and across. That's nice. I like that look.
Yeah, so that's a different look. It doesn't look like every other look. It doesn't look perfect on everyone, but when it does, it looks great.
Right, I agree. I agree.
And now we have, but the biggest trend this year, and even in the fall more so, is lace. And now we have Kaylee in a beautiful creation from Essence of Australia.
Wow.
This particular gown is embellished with a lot of crystal and beading, dramatic corset back.
And these are nice in the evening too, as well, right?
And these dresses now, the lace dresses that we're seeing both this season and upcoming in the fall, are much lighter and more comfortable than what maybe our grandmothers wore when they wore lace dresses.
Yeah. So they've advanced in that direction.
And this is really a follow through from the royal wedding, where Kate wore a fairly elaborate silk and lace dress, and so now the trend has come back to lace. And I love the look. I didn't until I started seeing it on the ladies. And
but I like it too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. We could talk for hours about dresses because there's so much. So basically, we suggest people come on by, talk to you guys, and hey, if you're actually getting married, come on in and try some on and have a fun adventure.
Bring your mom and your best friend and find the dress that's
Good
perfect
call.
for you.
All right. Thank you so much, Jeff. You're at
Thank you.
Angie's Bridal again here in Waterdown. We'll be back with more TERRA Home.
Told you Mom was coming this weekend, right?
No, you left that part out. Her first visit this weekend? Look around, we're not ready for that.
Where are you going?
To TERRA, where do you think?
This is amazing. You're amazing.
Well, we had a little help.
TERRA, where color lives.
Good morning. Welcome back to TERRA at Home. I'm here in our kitchen with Chef Rachel. And hi, Rachel. What are we making today?
We're going to do some salmon with a lemon caper cream sauce. And we're going to serve the salmon fillets with potato pancakes.
Okay, sounds fun. So we have a couple elements to learn today. All right, so where do we start?
I'm going to start off with the salmon. We're going to make a little bit of a rub for it.
Okay.
Not too much because the cream does bring, the cream sauce brings a lot of flavor to it. Okay. But I've started to make it already. Just some chopped garlic, salt and pepper. We'll add a little bit of cayenne, just a pinch for extra flavor. Okay. And then I've got some lemon zest as well. And so this is just a little rub that we're going to do. Put on the salmon, fry it in the fry pan, but then finish it off in the oven. Okay. I like to do that with a lot of the protein that I make. I just kind of get some nice color on it in the pan and then throw it in the oven to finish.
And it seems to add to the flavor a little bit too, doesn't it? For some reason, I don't know why. When you do it a bit in the pan and then the oven.
Yeah, you kind of lock in that flavor.
Yeah.
So we'll put a little bit of the lemon zest here too, so that flavor will carry over into the sauce when we use our lemon juice.
We all know we're supposed to be eating so much fish these days, right? They're encouraging us to try to be more like Mediterraneans and eat way more fish in our week than red meats. So you need to have, it's nice to have other alternatives to, okay, what can I do with my salmon to change up the flavor? And so this is good. This is a nice idea to try the rub.
Yeah, there are so many different things that you can do with fish, and so many flavors that work well.
And that's the great part, is you could probably do this with lots of different types of fish, right? With whitefish or anything.
Oh, of course. Yeah, and you don't really even necessarily need a rub when you have this cream sauce, like I said, but this will just add a little bit more. So what we're going to do is start this in the pan. We'll get the pan high because you want to make sure, like I said, that you lock in that flavor. So you want it to be nice and hot. And we'll start with presentation side down. You usually start like that, right? Okay. Because if you go the other way, then your pan's all kind of dirty when you flip it over, right? So if we started with the skin side down, by the time you flip it over, the pan's already a little bit dirty, so it's going to make the top of your salmon look dirty. So it won't be as nice when you present
Good tips. Very good.
So presentation side down, keep in mind. And you know, fish doesn't really take that long to cook at all.
That's the great part about it as well. Especially if you are actually moving this to the oven. Really, you're not going to need too much time on either.
No, exactly. So just a couple minutes like this in the pan on a medium-high heat, and then we'll throw it on a baking tray and put that in the oven.
Okay. And do you use olive oil in the pan? You did?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You just put that to the side for me. So when I take this out and put it on the pan, then we can use the same pan with the oil in it to make our sauce. So these are all the ingredients that we need for our sauce, but we'll get to that in a little bit when this comes out. We'll just have to keep an eye on it. Okay. In the meantime, we're going to serve it with some potato pancakes.
Okay.
So really kind of easy side dish to do, and it doesn't even have to be a side dish. You can actually have this as a meal, breakfast, any time of the day. So just like a white onion or yellow onion, grate it. So you want to grate it nice and fine, and make sure you get most of the moisture out if you can.
Okay. Yes, because when you're grating it, it really brings out a lot of water, right?
It does.
It gets very watery. Okay.
It does. So you want to try to get as much of that out as you can.
Okay. And you were actually using a raw potato to grate, or is it cooked?
It's a raw potato, so this is just a baking potato. Has a lot of starch, which is good for these potato pancakes. It'll just help to make it a little more crispy.
Okay. Oh, yes, that's key.
And so we're going to fry these up in a fry pan and get them nice and crispy. I'm just going to get this salmon off the heat. So we'll switch this over so we have a pan for this. And I'm just going to do this now. So like I said, we have the pan for our sauce after. So just going to get this ready. Okay, so that looks nice.
Beautiful.
A lot of nice color on there.
Very nice.
So we'll move that over.
That took no time at all. That's great.
Okay, and all those little bits will help to make our sauce a little more flavorful.
Okay.
Okay. So I've already grated the potato. You want to keep it in some water if you grate it ahead of time, which I did, but it is important that the potato's drained as well. So it is starting to get a little bit of color on it, but that's okay because we're frying it up anyways, so you won't be able to tell. And so we'll just mix this with the onion, and I have a little bit of flour and egg just to help bind it together. And we can also add in some salt and pepper at this time too, but you just want to mix everything really well and get it all
It's just a nice alternative
combined.
for a starch or potato, right? And again, as you say, when you get that crispiness to it, that's just really nice.
Yeah.
Especially with the salmon, I think that would taste really good.
Exactly, and because they are pancakes, you're not really, so you're still eating your starch and potato, but not a whole big potato, right?
Not, exactly.
They're smaller portions, and I'm always about trying to
Keep
find
the carbs low.
a healthier way to eat all this great food. So just a couple tablespoons of that and a little bit of egg. This is one egg. I'm not sure that I'm going to need the whole thing, so I'm just going to
okay. Yeah, because really you're just trying to get enough moisture in there to bind it, right? To keep it intact, and that's why also obviously the water would be not conducive for that. It would just make it too mushy.
Right. So we'll see how this works. A little bit of salt and pepper.
These are actually really straightforward and easy to make.
Very good. Very simple. And on their own, great served with like sour cream or applesauce are really good accompaniments for the potato pancakes. But in this case, we have, like I said, the cream sauce, so we don't need too much.
Okay.
A little bit more flour. And we'll get the pan up to a high heat. And then basically we're just going to, put a mound in the pan.
And it's actually going to stay together. It's going to keep itself intact in the pan. And so we'll fry those up, and the salmon's going to go in the oven.
Yes.
And how long are we putting that in there for?
The salmon won't take a long time because we've already started to fry it. So maybe 5-7 minutes.
Yep.
Keep an eye on it. That would be at 350.
Okay.
So we'll get those ready to fry. I'll start the sauce.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll take a break and we'll come back and we'll finish this all up and put it all together and get that sauce done, because I can't wait to see this.
Oh yes,
We're right back.
yes.
You've sat under them and built forts in them. You've swung from them and fell out of them. You've even fallen in love under them. Trees have always held a special place in our hearts and memories. A natural beauty, trees will grow with you and your family and bring color and nature into your world. For your assurance of quality, look for trees and shrubs with the Medallion plant tag. Medallion plants, locally grown, the pride of Niagara.
Welcome back to Terra at Home. We are finishing up our salmon. Now we've got our potato pancakes done.
Yes.
Awesome.
So they don't take very long in the pan. So like I said, you just put a clump of it in the pan, flatten it out with your spatula, a little bit of oil, and just fry it up. Flip
And
it
nice
over.
and thin, and just going to be nice and crispy that way.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So so they don't take very long at all. So you can serve 1 or 2 per person there.
Okay.
The salmon didn't take long either. In the oven, it was about 8 minutes at 350.
Okay. So that's done, and then you made this lovely sauce that we just have to make sure that everybody knows how to make.
Right, so the sauce was easy. I just put a little bit of stock in the pan, let that simmer for a minute or 2, and then I added my 35% cream. Again, you want to let that simmer for a little bit to reduce.
Okay.
And then just some lemon juice, some capers. I put a little bit of that lemon zest in there as well. And you just want to
really
simmer it for 5 to 10 minutes until it
Thickens up, right?
reduces.
Oh, very
Yeah,
good.
so it doesn't take long at all.
Beautiful.
Nice and flavorful. We'll just put the salmon on the plate here and then drizzle the sauce over top.
And of course, we know capers and lemon all work oh so nicely with salmon. It's nice to have a little bit of a cream sauce once in a while too with your salmon. So as you're plating this, just a reminder again, you can always go onto our website at terragreenhouses.com and find all of Chef Rachel's recipes, in particular this one. How fantastic it will be. Oh, that looks amazing.
There we go. Yeah, and it goes nicely with the potato pancake there. So you put a little extra on.
Oh yeah, soak it up. And there we go. Beautiful. That looks amazing. Now, you could also put, of course, some other vegetables with this as a nice accompaniment if you wanted to. But I think I'm liking the potato pancake.
Yeah. Maybe add a little bit of greens too. It's always nice to have some color
greens.
to your plate.
Exactly. You could do some broccolini or something on the side, and beautiful. Okay, well, thank you. That's a very good recipe and nice and fresh. And again, eat your fish, get your salmon intake, and always different great ways to find new sauces and new ways to prepare your salmon. Thanks, Chef Rachel. All right, that's it for now. Have yourself a great weekend.